just to say, like, Dustbaum actually messaged me and asked me if I can share basically the addresses that I have of the OA, of what I believe the OA addresses are. And I shared it with him. So he uploaded it into his Google Sheet. He has one Google Sheet where he did the OA analysis before. And there's like one tab where you basically got all the addresses that basically I included here. So if you want to look them up, it's there. And with that, I got to basically to 87% of circulating supply held by the OA. And that would leave the circulating supply to be only at 3.6%, which is, 23, 24 billion hex. This is on the Ethereum side. I didn't do it for the PHEX yet. And just because we talked about the OA, here's just down a chart how the percentage of the OA in relation to the circulating supply developed. And it basically goes all the time down. It only increased basically during PulseChain and PulseX sacrifice. So the OA is getting diluted.
Right.
And that's what we want to see.
Yeah.
So when
you talk about the OA so the ideal, right, is like, so nobody can come in and buy HEX. Like they can't buy, you can't have, BlackRock or JP Morgan can't come in and buy HEX, or they can't get all the supply because it's locked up and all that stuff. So if it gets diluted over time, though, does that mean over time it is just going to all, like, do you think it's best for the ecosystem that, I don't know how long it would take? You think it'd take 10 years, 20 years, 30 years for the OA to just basically silently exit because of getting diluted over time? Or how do you think they'll always be around 80-90% ownership?
I think it doesn't make sense for it to have all the time 90%. I think this is it's the goal to dilute basically the OA, and basically the staker class is diluting the OA. So the people who stake and believe in the system are diluting the OA, and they will take over. I mean, bigger and bigger shares of the circulating supply. And until the OA has only 20%, or who knows how much. And you could make a calculation based on current trends and current staking behaviors. You could do that and have a projection. That would be interesting. The other thing that you can do if you know the OA share, and I didn't want to necessarily audit the OA, but what it's really good at is to count user circulating supply. That I really wanted to get to, and then to have a chart, which is up above here, to have a chart of user circulating supply, because we know that kind of how the supply looks like in general, and it's the supply increases every year by 3.69%. But if you look at user supply, it's actually a different kind of thing, where the inflation is different.
Got a question here from Goldkey. Have you looked into how much the OA earns from its stakes?
I did not. I did not. But I have the data. I just didn't have time. I was more interested in user circulating supply, but I will get to that as well.
Interesting. The OA, very interesting entity. Who knows who it is? Yeah, honestly, I think it makes more. Yeah, maybe that's the final question on OA real quick too. Does it make more sense for, if you were setting up a system like this, pretend you're making HEX from the start and all these values and all this, longevity, like longevity as in like you want the system to last a long time, and all the things that we see, the values that have been like kind of instilled in the ecosystem of protecting users and best friend, all that stuff. If you were going to formulate that as the OA, would it be person, company, distributed? Have you thought about that before?
What would I prefer the OA to be from those selections?
Yeah, what would make the most sense for a system like this?
You mean if it's better if it's a foundation or if it's a person, or in that direction?
Yeah, for example, it would probably, there's like a lot of downsides to being a person, because what if the person dies? What if the person gets stuff confiscated? What if all those things? So
it's great that it's a mystery, in the sense of that you can't be 100% sure. You just speculate. And that's the best thing, because if you speculate, if the person dies who the OA, if it's a person who's behind the OA, and if the person dies, are you sure, that supply is gone and there's nobody protecting the users? Because maybe there's another person, and maybe that person will protect the users. So from the outside, if you look at it, you can never be sure. Meaning, if it's a mystery, like a Satoshi Nakamoto mystery, where you just don't know, it means that it just protects at all time. Unless when you see on chain that it does not protect anymore. And by basically counting the OA share, what I found is that by very easy rules, you can define those addresses. Meaning it's almost like the OA wanted it, that somebody can count it in an easy way. I mean, it's like 3,000 addresses or something. So you have to do some calculation there, but they have all the same pattern. So it wanted to be a mystery, but it makes it easy to count. So if it's easy to count, then you can look at the data in an easy way, and it's transparent. So I'm not sure if it was exactly intended like it. It's just played out really nice.
A mystery, and it's gonna be interesting to see over time are there any moves that happen in the next 10 years? Is there any more sacrifices where the supply gets more locked up and the dilution kind of resets for a minute too? Wow, exciting times indeed.